I'm Samara Garrett. In this episode of The Buzzword, we hear more about how AOD services can improve LGBTIQA+ inclusion and how they recognise the importance of a diverse workforce. I also quiz a few people on Smart Recovery, a Meridian program that's very close to my heart.
I'm 38 years old, cisgender gay man, he, him.
I'm 54, I'm cisgendered female. My pronouns are she and her.
I'm 25 years old. I identify as a bisexual woman and I use she, her pronouns. I think accessibility in terms of safety and people being able to access services is first of all about visibility and using the right kind of signals and safety signals to show people that you mean business and you're a true ally, and it's not just a token gesture, but it's you back up your allyship in really substantial ways, and that's about using the correct language and not making assumptions about community and not asking uncomfortable questions and doing your own research and being a proactive ally. So I think that it starts from there. It's very basic, really. It's about putting flags on your things and putting the right colours on things and about celebrating days of significance and changing your forms and making sure that it allows for pronouns and correct names and correct genders and all those kinds of things. Proactive, inclusive practice changes everything.
Well, there's so much that they can do. I mean, there's visual signs, but, nobody wants to colour the world in a rainbow, but some visual signs that people are welcome. Using correct pronouns, using correct language and following sort of basic language guides that are out there that can be provided, collecting correct information around people's pronouns and people's genders, not asking questions that you don't actually need to know. If you're accessing some treatment for drug and alcohol, you don't actually need to know what a person's gender is. You just need to know that the person wants to access the service and make them feel safe and comfortable.
Compassion's one of our biggest values, because not only do we all need compassion at times, but we need compassion for ourselves, and we need to know ourselves as we are and come home to ourselves as we are and not be expected to be anything else. Substance use might be a part of our lives forever or not. And it's really around for us determining if it's a problematic level of substance use, if we want to, should, are open to exploring any change in that. But regardless of how substance use interplays with us in our lives, to be seen as wonderfully okay, not just okay, just as we should be, full of, dignity and humanity, and accepted as that, knowing that historically there has been and continues to be just so much mistreatment and stigma and shame, misunderstanding around substance use and that being a problem for people. Whereas if we can treat substance use as a health issue and engage with people as the people that they are, rather than putting any labels on or presumptions about what should or could be, that's really the place we want to start from.
So at Carolina Programs, we are continuously improving how we show that we are inclusive. For example, it can be anything from signs and things in the waiting room that make people feel comfortable. Our languaging is really important as well. How we ask questions and how we ask people about what they've experienced in terms of stigma and discrimination, and what are some words that might trigger them into a negative space.
Very difficult to find services and supports that are available to you in Canberra and don't want to butt up against other people that you know. It's to have some anonymity, so having to, leave the state. Very hard to say to your boss or whoever you're responsible to, I need 2 weeks off because I need to go to rehab. That's something, it's just not spoken about. We don't talk about those things. It's even confronting to go to your general practitioner and say, I'm struggling. So that's half the battle, is actually trying to navigate the system, be autonomous in that, be confident in that, and just do it actually.
So for someone who's reaching out for assistance or reaching out for a service, support of some sort, having someone that they feel can have a sense of their reality, possibly their experience and their struggle, is hugely important. Lived experience is incredibly valuable and such an important thing for us at Directions Health. A number of our staff have lived experience with substance use, lived experience as a family member impacted by substance use. Over 15% identify as LGBTQI+, and over 10% are culturally and linguistically diverse, over 10% are Aboriginal. Our hope is that our workforce is reflective of some of the populations that we're working with. So it gives a sense of we, not them, when you present to a service. You don't want to present to a service and think, oh, different, walk of life, unrelated, can't imagine what it's like, has no idea, tells me, these ideas are great to try, but has no sense of what that's like in practice. Desperately need a sense of confidence that what you're talking about is understood and that what's discussed is tried and tested and matches life, not just a textbook. So for us, lived experience is key to that. Our clients always have a choice in their worker, and our hope is that we have someone in that team who reflects some of the markers in that client's life. So having a worker who might also be LGBTQI+ themselves, might identify differently but has some experience of what that journey can be like. Obviously, if I identify, as a lesbian female, my experience might be completely different to someone else. I'm cis heterosexual white woman, so for those white women who are engaging in a similar background, no worries, but I'm not going to pretend that I can comprehend and empathise with in a way that's as meaningful as someone who's actually been through that, as someone who shares a similar journey, similar identity, is a part of a similar community. Just as equally, we want to give people as much anonymity as possible. So someone might specifically request to not work with someone because they're a part of their community, and that's equally just as fine as wanting someone who does reflect some likeness to themselves.
Very little. I'm a terrible, terrible person.
At Meridian, they do smart recovery for alcohol? No, all addictions. Oh, okay.
Group counselling, discussion, support around alcohol and other drug recovery or easing yourself off, or issues around those sorts of things, and sort of knowledge sharing and support and that sort of stuff.
When you think of groups like that, you think of AA, but it's not the AA style, not the higher power, and not about sobriety. It's about tools and strategies to manage the circumstances that you're currently in, and they may not be sobriety.
It's a way for people to unpack and understand their relationship with alcohol and other drugs and other addictions as well, in a way that's not like AA, that it's super based in being sober and sticking to sobriety and living in quite a strict life, but it's more about just understanding your relationship with those things and moderating and doing what works for you. And I think it's wonderful.
Meridian Smart Recovery is a weekly online group program that encourages people who might be struggling with alcohol and other drugs or any addiction to start a conversation. Unlike AA or other abstinence-based programs, the goal is not necessarily to quit, but rather manage triggers, urges, and motivations behind addictive behaviours, and draw upon group experiences to inspire self-motivated change. Our trained smart facilitators come from a wide variety of backgrounds and reflect Meridian's wonderfully diverse workforce. For more information, check out the Meridian website. Thank you to everyone who contributed to the Buzzword series. Bye for now.